Hey, welcome to one more session with Heather and Get a Grip. So, I want to talk to you today about a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. And I don't know if you've heard about a growth mindset. I hope you have. It's an important concept. It's not new. Carol Dweck wrote about it years ago, but it's one that's worth mentioning. And if you haven't heard about it, I'll explain it a little bit. We get mired in the muck of our thoughts. And a fixed mindset says, this is the way it is. And it's 100% that way, and I'm not thinking about it any other way. Yet that's not true, right? Things aren't 100%. They're maybe 80. I love that 80-20 thing, but it's never 100%. And it's always worth looking at and asking yourself, is that true? And that's really what I'm all about, is I want to ask, is my thinking valid? Is it working for me? Is it good for me? Just thinking about it in that way. And I always want to question my thoughts. And so that's a growth mindset. I'm not going to take it at face value. I'm going to think about it. And do I want to take that on as mine? Right? Do I want to accept somebody else's view on life as mine? Well, maybe I do, maybe I don't. And so it's worth looking at, because I see people getting really spun out about things and really upset about things that aren't worth being upset about. I think to myself, gosh, do you really want to waste your time on that? There's very few things that I want to waste my time on. There's that. Mark Manson wrote the book, The Art of Not Giving an F, and you know what that word is. And it cracks me up because it's really true. And I always say, well, if you only have 9, I call them cares, if you only have 9 of those left to give in your whole lifetime, is it really worth one? What you're thinking about right now, what you got all worked up about, is it really worth one? Now, I did that this morning. I was very worked up. I hate paying bills. Oh, by the way, I'm Scottish. I was raised with an odd look at money. And so I get all spun out about money. And I was frustrated. And I know I'm doing it. But this morning I didn't catch myself soon enough. What I do is I use anger to make myself be able to do the hard stuff. And paying bills, and it's bill pay, which is frustrating too. I get frustrated with that. And so I have to know that, is it frustrating? No. Is it a red light detail? No. Right? It's not even yellow. It's fine. I have the money to pay the bills. It shouldn't be that stressful, but I allowed myself to go down that rabbit hole once again, and without thinking about it, I had a fixed mindset. Now, the growth mindset is, I need to ask myself, okay, is this really that irritating? No. Is it really worth giving all that energy to it? No. It's just worth doing it right, getting it done. It wasn't hard, but I got worked up about it, and I don't need to. Now, I get caught off guard just like everybody else, but I'm working to not do that so often, and certainly not for long periods of time. So how can I adjust my opinion of paying bills? Well, just like I did. Is it really that hard? No. Do I have the money to pay them? Yes. Should I be worried about it? No. You know what bugs me about it, though, is you try to do it online, and first of all, you have to have a password to get in there, and boy, do passwords work me up. It's just like, really? Do we have to have passwords again? And then once you get in there to do bill pay, they want to send you a code to validate that you actually entered the information. And I'm like, well, who else would it be? But then I have to remind myself there are a lot of scams out there, and there's lots of ways to do it differently. And maybe somebody's hacking in, I don't know. But it just makes me crazy. Because then I go, it just is irritating. But I can just think as well, it's not that irritating, and it really isn't. And it's not that long to do it. It might take me 15 minutes tops. That's no big deal. That's once a month. No big deal. And I can actually set up the bills to be paid on a repetitive basis, because, it's like a certain payment that goes out every month. You can just do it recurring. Well, how easy is that? Now, see, if I think that, I don't get frustrated. If I think the other way, this is going to be so icky and awful, then I get frustrated. So it's a choice. It's a choice of how I think about things. And you have the choice too. We all do. And that growth mindset, just changing how you're thinking about things and not being stuck in the mud, right? Not being stuck in a certain way of thinking or a certain way of being. I understand that we've been trained over the years to do it a certain way and think a certain way, and our parents taught us a certain way, and life taught us a certain way, but we can change. There is that old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I disagree. It's just that old dog needs to agree to change and to take it on as a goal that they have, me being the old dog, maybe you too. Old dog, there's no age attached to that. It's just that we're being a fixed mindset. So, developing a growth mindset is very important for living that life that we desire, to feel that contentment, notice the joy, right? The little itty bitty things that can bring you joy. And to do that, we have to get out of that thought process that we've had all these years and change it up. We don't go down that cat track. We don't go down the rabbit hole. We actually think differently and want to do it differently and work to do it differently. That's one of our goals. We want to be doing it differently so that it's easier. And it is easy, truthfully. We talked about last time about how we think that life has gone to hell in a handbasket, and it really has not. We're much better off than we've ever been, even though it doesn't seem like it. But there is so much misinformation being handed around right now that you have to be very, very careful to not fall into that. I don't know if I told you about that. I was originally a Canadian. I'm an American now. And so I'm in touch with the Canadian ways of being, and my relatives are all up there. And so somebody posted, I think it was on TikTok, the new prime minister saying he was going to change all these rules and you couldn't do this and he was going to make it not that. And of course, the moment that happens, I just go, that cannot be true. So if it is, I'm going to research it. And I do a lot of research to figure out. And of course, it said, no, that was false. That was not true. He did not say that. And I knew that. But it can upset you to think that, wow, I mean, that's really strict. And, oh, I don't like that. And, well, no, that's not a good idea. But most of it isn't true. But they've already got us being upset. Gotta be on top of your game. In today's world, we've got to be on top of our game. And I want us to be, because it makes us feel better. Remember, we got to think better, to feel better, to be better. And that's what I want for all of us. So give it a shot. Question every thought that's coming your way and think, wow, is that one of my fixed mindset things or a growth mindset thing? Because it can be different. It can. And so you can work towards it, and you can join me doing it, because I'm doing the same thing, working hard. All right. So I hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great week, and I'll talk to you next one. All right. Bye.